Hello and welcome back. You're tuned into Revision Hub with Jazzy Jane. I'm back and today we'll be looking at crime and deviance. Crime and deviance is another topic which appears on the AQA Sociology A-level paper. So let's get cracking. It's important to start off with the definitions because if you do not know how to define a keyword and if you don't know the definition, when you go on to look at the future topics that I'll be looking at, it'll be very difficult if you see that keyword within the few topics and you won't know what it means. That will create more confusion. So I request you to please learn these definitions. Crime is behavior that breaks the law. Pause and have a think of various different criminal activities that you consider that break the law. Pause and have a think. So, some of you might have had a think of different criminal behaviors that break the law. Some of them would be perfectly right and correct. Me and you might have various different answers, and that's okay because they are just examples. So, I have got speeding, littering, drink driving. They're all criminal behaviors that break the law and have consequences. Second one is deviance. Deviance is the failure to conform to social norms. Pause and have a think of various different examples where we can see that deviant act has occurred and it fails to conform to social norms that society lays out. Hopefully you've had a think of different deviant acts that fail to conform to social norms. I have cohabitation. For example, it fails to conform to social norms. For example, in some countries like India, cohabitation is really frowned upon because it does not fails to conform to the social norms that are set by within society, by religion. So that is a true act which can be considered as deviant in various different countries. Boys wearing skirt, that's another typical example that is used which shows huge amount of deviance. Phone snatching, very common in today's day and age, and that is actually not a crime, but rather is a very deviant activity which fails to conform to social norms because we don't do it on everyday life. Normal people would not just go around and just snatch people's phone on bikes. No one would do that. As a result, this is known as deviant. Socially defined behavior is acts that is seen deviant and based on various different factors. So socially defined behavior depends on these few factors that an act is decided whether it is deviant or not. The few factors are time, where it has occurred, public or private place, where's it occurred, so is it a public place, private place, the time that has occurred, the social situation or the culture. For example, if a deviant act was happening in a funeral, was it considered as a crime? Was it considered as deviant? And these things actually depend on the culture and if the culture actually accepts that thing being done within that particular time frame. So hopefully that makes sense and you can link these together. Official crime statistics are collected by the Home Office. If you Google official crime statistics on crime, you'll get a huge vast amount of data which are collected by the Home Office on statistics. So within that page, you will see victim surveys. Victim surveys are people in public who are asked if they experienced a crime. Have they reported it? Have they not reported it? Why have they reported it? Why have they not reported it? Victim surveys are pretty confidential and they don't get leaked in any way or form and does not get you into trouble. Self-reported study is another thing that you will find on the website. It's given to a population at random, confidential again, and this is where individuals confess that they've committed a crime. If they are not caught, why were they not caught? Was it because of their age, their class? Was it because of the gender? Was it because of their ethnicity? All of these things we'll be looking at in my next few videos, so stay tuned for those. Reported crime is obviously in the word reported. Reported is simply you go to the police and tell them I've experienced a criminal act and I think that harms me and causes harm to society around me. As a result, it's known as reported crime and that is in the word. Is crime socially constructed? Pause and have a think about the definition of social construction. Socially constructed simply means made up by society. You should be familiar with this word because we've been using it for all the other topics so far. Historical versus cross-culture. So when you look at is crime socially constructed in an exam, you have to divide it into two lines. One side would be historical, the other would be cross-culture. On the page, I'll be dotting around a few examples of which ones are historical and which ones are cross-culture. Pause, have a think of which one you think goes where. Child labour, education till 18, euthanasia, this is where injections are given to people and you give consent for them to die or have a peaceful death. Homosexuality, France wearing religious symbols, you might be aware of this. After the attacks in France, it's illegal to wear religious symbols within the country, even a crucifix and various other religious symbols. Abortion, women voting. Have a go. So you guys must have had a good go. So let's have a look. Within the historical bracket, education till 18, women voting, homosexuality, child labour goes there. So all of these things shows that crime is socially constructed by historical factors, and these are a few examples. Whilst cross-culture would be abortion, euthanasia, France wearing religious symbols. These show whether crime is socially constructed or not. So if you have like a 2-mark question on this, or maybe a 4-mark question on this, this will be a very easy one to get all of the marks. So far, we have looked at key definitions and if crime is socially constructed or not. And when we look at the term social construction, we look at historic as well as we look at cross-culture. Next video, I'll be looking at the functionist perspective of crime, similarities, differences, comparing various different theories, as well as the control theory. Till then, revise, rest, test and repeat yourself on the content that we've learned so far in this video. And again on Instagram, so please scan this and follow me. And do not forget to like my videos, subscribe, there'll be a smiley somewhere on the screen. If you're happy with the content that I'm doing, if you're happy with the quality of it, please press the smiley button and subscribe. Please comment, because your comments mean a lot to me. And please press the bell icon to never miss my video. Thank you so much for tuning in into Revision Hub with Jazzy J.